Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are strapping in for a huge one.
Oh, yeah.
It's the kind of Premier League clash that feels like it's about more than just 3 points. It's Arsenal versus Liverpool at the Emirates on January 8th.
And this is designed to be your tactical shortcut. We've gone past the standard match previews and really dug into the high-level source material.
The analyst breakdowns, the metrics, all of it.
Right. To give you the specific nuggets of knowledge that tell you how this game will actually play out.
That's the mission, exactly.
Yeah.
We want to move past all the noise and just focus purely on the tactical picture that comes out of the research.
You know, what are the vulnerabilities? What are the managers really planning?
If you want to understand the chess game being played on January 8th, this is where you start.
Exactly. And the first place to look is just the vastly different states these two giants are in right now. It's a fantastic study in consistency, or maybe the lack of it.
Okay, let's start with the home side then.
Yeah.
The current league leaders, Arsenal, they're sitting at the top, and, well, the numbers don't lie. They've got these incredible attacking metrics, averaging well over 2 goals a game.
Yeah, but crucially, that's built on a rock-solid defensive organization.
Right.
The word I keep seeing come up in the analysis is established identity. It feels like Mikel Arteta's project is, complete.
It's not just chaos, it's controlled.
Exactly. It's not just high-pressing football. It's high-pressing married to this really patient, sophisticated build-up. Their consistency, especially at the Emirates, it's down to how predictable their patterns are.
And that's a strength, not a weakness.
It's a huge strength.
And digging into that structure, the sources keep highlighting 2 things. The goals, obviously, and the rhythm of that midfield. We're talking about Viktor Gyökeres delivering.
Well, he's been delivering the volume of goals you expect from a title challenger, for sure.
But it's that midfield control that makes it all possible.
That progression is key. They use their holding midfielder, usually Rice, as this anchor. He's the guy who receives the ball under pressure and can just instantly shift the point of attack.
Bypassing that first line of press.
Right, and that control lets their attacking midfielders get higher up the pitch, finding those little pockets of space, between the center back and the fullback. It's a system designed to just frustrate you into making a mistake.
Okay, so let's contrast that established control with Liverpool, who are sitting just outside that immediate title race.
A very different story.
Arne Slot has had an interesting start. Their recent form is good, they're unbeaten in a few matches, and you can see a real, tangible improvement defensively.
Yes, that was clearly goal number 1 post-Klopp.
All right.
Shoring up a defense that had just become way too open, especially in transition.
And he's done it.
He has. They're conceding fewer quality chances. But here's the trade-off, and this is where you see the deeper analysis. Improving that defensive structure, it almost always costs you some creativity.
And why is that specifically true for this Liverpool team?
Well, because to be that solid, you're asking your fullbacks to hold their position more, right? Not to just bomb forward all the time. Your central midfielders have to be a bit more conservative, too.
So it makes them predictable.
Very predictable in possession. The sources all suggest they really struggle to turn that midfield dominance into consistent, high-quality chances. Those high-risk passes that break the lines. They're just not happening as often.
And that lack of creativity seems to be feeding into another pretty glaring weakness the analysts have picked up on: set pieces.
Oh, it's a massive detail. It's not just that they're struggling to score from their own set pieces. Their defensive organization on them has been, well, questionable.
And didn't their set piece coach just leave?
He did. And that's a huge psychological factor, especially going into a game against an Arsenal team that absolutely thrives on set play goals.
So if we pull it all together, we've got Alexis McAllister on the record saying the squad's inconsistency is down to all the changes, the lack of cohesion. It sounds like Arsenal is a machine and Liverpool is still putting the pieces together.
That is the perfect summary. Arsenal has this reliable floor of performance. You know what you're going to get. Liverpool has a high ceiling. That speed is terrifying. But they're battling so much inconsistency, which makes their execution just far less reliable week to week.
That sets the scene perfectly. But this fixture, it always has a history that casts a shadow. Let's look at the head-to-head. What are the numbers telling us?
Historically, sure, Liverpool hold an edge overall. But the recent story is what matters. And the analysis of the last few seasons shows this game is now all about narrow margins, high tension.
And high goal counts, which is great for us, but terrifying for the managers.
Correct. The data is so clear on this. Goals are probable. Almost every recent game has had over 1.5 goals, and both teams to score just keeps happening. You rarely see a clean, controlled 1-0 win.
Unless it's decided by a moment of just individual magic.
Like their last game, yeah.
That previous encounter in 2025.
Absolutely. Liverpool's 1-0 win at Anfield was decided by that stunning Szoboszlai free kick, a 30-yard rocket. It just proved that in this victor, one moment of quality can completely override 89 minutes of tactics.
But then you have Arsenal's 2-2 comeback draw before that, which shows their own resilience. Even when they go behind, their system lets them reset and recover.
It's proof this game just doesn't follow a script. So the takeaway here for you is that this isn't about System A beating System B. It's about which team can execute their plan for, say, 88 minutes, while surviving the 2 or 3 minutes where chaos or brilliance just takes over.
That idea of minimizing chaos is a perfect bridge. Okay, let's unpack this. Let's deep dive into Arsenal's key strengths.
Yeah.
The ones designed to create that chaos for Liverpool.
Arsenal's game plan is all about maximizing their superiority out wide. They don't just want the ball, they want dominant possession that forces Liverpool to shift their entire defensive block from side to side over and over again until a gap opens up.
Talk us through how they actually do that, though. It's not as simple as just lumping crosses in, is it?
Oh, far from it. This is where you see the really nuanced fullback roles. There's an asymmetry. The sources describe one fullback, often say Zinchenko, inverting into the midfield to act as another playmaker.
To create an overload in the center.
Exactly. And while he's doing that, the other fullback is pushing really high and wide, almost like a traditional winger, to deliver that final ball.
That asymmetry must be a nightmare for a defense to handle.
It is. It stretches you vertically and horizontally at the same time. Arsenal's whole tempo is designed to exploit the spaces that appear when Liverpool's midfielders have to decide whether to cover the guy in the middle or the guy out wide. It creates these 2-on-1 situations.
And then, on top of all that, they have the ultimate weapon, those set pieces.
A huge, huge asset. The analysts have dissected their routines. They use decoys, specific runners. It's all incredibly well drilled. In a game of fine margins, creating a good chance from a corner is often more reliable than from open play.
Okay, let's flip the coin. How does Liverpool deal with that?
Slot's main goal has to be containment and disruption, right? He can't try to match Arsenal's control.
Precisely. You're not going to outpossess this Arsenal team at the Emirates. So Slot's system is all about a highly disciplined, structured press. They know they can't just chase the ball everywhere.
So they set traps.
They do. They try to trap Arsenal in specific zones, often out wide in their defensive third, to force the ball backwards to the center backs.
And what are the pressing triggers for Liverpool then? When do they go?
The sources suggest they'll likely go when one of Arsenal's center backs gets the ball slowly, or when that deep midfielder can't find an immediate forward pass. And the goal isn't always to win the ball right there.
It's to force a mistake.
It's to force a long ball or a turnover in a really dangerous area.
And that turnover, that's the starting pistol for Liverpool's real threat, the counterattack. That's their whole game. It's purely transitional play. They rely on their wingers, who are lightning fast, just bursting forward the second they win the ball back. They want to punish Arsenal's high defensive line.
Which will be committed forward by design.
Exactly. If Liverpool can string together 3 or 4 quick passes into that space behind Arsenal's fullbacks, they have a genuine chance.
But wait a minute. If we know Liverpool has been struggling with finishing efficiency, why are experts still so sure they can exploit that high line? Is that just hope?
It's a great question, but it's not hope, it's a numbers game. Even if they're only converting 1 out of every 5 good chances on the break, the opportunity itself is almost guaranteed to happen because of how Arsenal play.
Oh, I see.
When Liverpool do break those lines, they generate really high expected goals chances. One-on-ones, tap-ins. The issue is purely execution.
So it boils down to Arsenal's consistent, structured attack versus Liverpool's containment and, well, a desperate reliance on a transitional threat that just hasn't been that reliable this season.
That's the core tension of the entire match. And that brings us to the 3 specific on-field battles that the experts say will dictate everything. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay, let's start in the middle of the park. The midfield battle.
This is going to be a war zone, but not necessarily a physical one. It's a battle of tempo and space. Arsenal wants to establish that rhythm, that creative, controlled progression.
Yeah, Liverpool.
Liverpool's job is just to apply containment pressure, to make sure there is never a free player in that space right in front of their center backs. Whoever controls the pace of that central third, well, they win the right to dictate the game.
Okay, moving out from there. The second key area. the wide areas.
Even everything we said about Arsenal overloading the flanks, the duel between Saka and his counterparts against the Liverpool fullbacks is just pivotal.
It's the whole source of their attack.
It is. If Liverpool's fullbacks are pinned back, isolated, Arsenal will just pepper the box with crosses and pullbacks and they will eventually score. If Liverpool's wingers track back and turn those into 2-on-2 fights, the game stabilizes for them.
And finally, the detail that just keeps coming up in every single piece of analysis, set pieces.
This is the low-hanging fruit for Arsenal. It really is. Their quality from dead balls is consistently high. We talked about the routines.
Right.
And you put that up against a Liverpool team that has shown weaknesses there and has just lost their specialist coach. This moves from being a potential threat to a likely outcome. It's the advantage that bypasses open play creativity entirely.
So let's pull this all together. What's the overall expert verdict? When you weigh all these variables, form, home advantage, tactical gaps, who has the edge?
The consensus is pretty firm. It's going to be an open game. Goals are highly likely, just given the risks both teams take. However, the majority view definitely leans towards Arsenal.
Why the lean? Is it just the home advantage?
It's more systemic than that. Arsenal's structured possession gives them a higher floor of performance. They have more reliable ways to create chances.
Right.
At home, with that crowd, they are masters of building and sustaining pressure, which will just force Liverpool into mistakes. The sources suggest Arsenal's control gives them maybe a 60-40 upper hand.
But a disciplined Liverpool side always has a puncher's chance. What's the specific scenario where they can pull off the upset?
The only way Liverpool wins this game is if they execute Slot's press perfectly for 90 minutes and they finally find that finishing efficiency that's been missing.
A big ask.
A huge ask.
Yeah.
If they win the ball in the middle third and are absolutely clinical in exploiting the 1 or 2 big gaps Arsenal will leave, they have the speed to steal a result. But it relies on them raising their performance ceiling just for this one game.
So what does this all mean for you, the person watching this massive clash? We've laid out the conflict. Arsenal's structured control versus Liverpool's defensive solidity and their reliance on transitional speed.
And the crucial takeaway is the tactical mandate facing Liverpool. Arsenal has the reliable system, yes, but Liverpool has the ability to exploit its one big vulnerability, that space in behind. However, the one lever Liverpool absolutely cannot afford to let break is giving away set-piece opportunities.
Which brings us to our final provocative thought for you to chew on as you watch. Given that every source highlights Arsenal's undeniable strength in set pieces, and knowing Liverpool's recent lapses and the very public loss of their specialist coach, how much pressure does that put on Liverpool's midfield and their press?
A huge amount.
They aren't just trying to win the ball, they're performing preventative maintenance. They have to prevent cheap fouls in dangerous areas, and critically, they have to stop giving away corners altogether. The game might not be decided by which side scores the best open play goal,
but rather by how successfully Liverpool can avoid those completely avoidable dead ball situations against one of the league's most lethal set-piece sides. That specific element discipline defending to prevent fouls and corners, that's what you need to watch closest.